Wow.
Yes.
Who knew men could do that? Thank you guys. Awesome. Okay. Now I'm back to the script. Good morning, CSL Parker. Good morning. Yes. That's what I was waiting for. Contrary to what you may think right now, I am not Robin Williams. Say, a few of you are old enough to get that. I am Ann Grove. I'm a practitioner here at CSL Parker. I am one of your practitioners. Practitioners generally wear white stoles, but if you know a practitioner that doesn't have a stole on, feel free to ask them to sit down with you. We love to pray. At CSL Parker, we honor all paths to the divine, all paths to God, which makes many of us feel like we have finally found a home. We hope you feel that way too. And I just want to blast from the past and say, welcome home. We have been waiting for you. Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and community growth and transformation. We fulfill our mission with this Sunday gathering by offering classes and workshops and by being here for you. Did you know you can submit a prayer request right there at the welcome desk? We have a card for you to fill out. You don't even have to be brave enough to talk to anybody. You can just fill it out and slip it in the box. You can also submit a prayer request through our website online. And please, sit down with us after the service. We're here. Prayer requests could be big things, little things, good things, bad things, anything at all. It does not matter. Just approach anyone with a white stole. We love you. We want to talk to you. Okay. Enough of me. Let's bring up Felina Harrington to share the latest and greatest news here at CSL Parker.
Thank you, Ann. So, you see these in the chairs. If you're a member of CSL Parker or want to be a member of CSL Parker, please fill this out because we use this. This is really important to the board to have an idea of what is committed from all of us so they can prepare the 2023 budget. So that's what this is for. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, there's a lot going on. The theme for November is Living Everyday Wonder, Living Everyday Abundance, which is really nice because I have learned to walk into abundance by being grateful and about visioning abundance. So those are important things. We have a couple of items that we desperately need help with. One is the video, someone to run the video. We need people that will back up that. It's a real easy task. And if you...
Technical difficulties, operators are standing by.
Thank you.
Well, he's standing right there.
Better. Okay. So volunteers are needed to run this little gadget. You don't need to put it on YouTube. That's been taken care of by Ann. Just need some backups to learn how to do that piece. And the other piece we desperately need help with because the people that have been doing this are just getting kind of worn out because they've been doing it for several years, before COVID even. Tear up and tear down of the hospitality table and bring snacks. So when one of our practitioners is here, she brings a lot of snacks. But when she's not here, that table gets lean. So just if you have the desire to bring in snacks for Sunday service, that would be great. Okay. The Benevolence Tithe Fund, that's something that the CSL does. It might be all CSL does it, I don't know. But CSL Parker has a benevolence fund, and everything that we collect goes, a percentage, a small percentage, goes to a charity. This time, it's going to 2 charities that were involved in involved with the relief fund. Excuse me, I can't talk this morning. I'm starting to get static again. The relief fund that happened in Florida, that supports Florida with the devastation down there. One we're giving to Cape Coral, the CSL Cape Coral in Florida. They are taking donations. They've been directly affected, and so 2 months we're going to them, and then the second 2 months are going to American Red Cross for the same kind of thing, a relief fund for the hurricane. And I think that's about all we have. Like Ann said, we love to get our prayer on, so if you have a prayer request, please see any one of us that are wearing the stoles. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Felina. Okay, don't let me embarrass you. Is there anyone here for the first time, or anyone here who hasn't been around for a while? If you have not already received a visitor's packet at the door, we please ask you kind of acknowledge, let us know who you are, and we'll make sure you get a visitor's packet. And I just want to say, I'm glad you're here. Also, inside that visitor's packet is a card that you can fill out so that you will get our weekly emails. You'll know what's going on, who's speaking, what they're speaking about. Whatever's happening, you'll learn about it. And I promise, we email you weekly. No more, weekly. You can look for it, you can count on it. So now, let's just take a moment, and everyone who's comfortable, let's stand and greet one another. And I want to define greeting. A greeting can be a hug. It can be a handshake. It can be a smile. It could be a, do you have COVID? Whatever it is, wherever your boundaries are, that's a greeting. Let's stand up and do it.
Very nice to see you. I know you look like you know what I mean.
Oh, you know.
Water too far from home.
How about you? Good. Hanging in there.
Yeah, let's have Charlie and the cat though, right?
I don't know what happened if you didn't. Jannette wouldn't be happy. That much I know.
Excited to see you. This isn't just a 2-minute shaking a person standing next to you. This is like a real live, it's a round robin.
Okay. Isn't it wonderful to just be able to greet one another and say hello? It's great to see some New Dawn faces here. Holly, hey Katie. Oh, this energy is incredible, amazing. Thank you all for being here. So let's just take a moment and go into prayer. So in this moment right here and right now, we know that there is one presence, one power, that divine energy that we call God, our source, our beloved, and all that is good, that is God, I know that that's the energy that flows through each and every one of us today. That essence of love, joy. We could feel the joy as we greeted one another. The air that we breathe, everything, it's all God, the beautiful skies, that energy of love and joy. And so we just give thanks for that this day. We give thanks for our music, for one another. We know that the message that Dr. Vern gives touches each and every one of us in its own beautiful way. We know that our hearts are filled, our souls are inspired. And so we just give thanks. I know that this service is blessed, it is good, and it is inspiring. And so for this and so much more, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. And please join me in grounding this by declaring, and so it is. Amen. So grateful to Tony Zajowski and our all-men's band. And so our reading for today is from Science of Mind magazine, and it is the March 2021 edition. And it's from the Daily Guides by Eugene Holden. The title is, In All Things Be Grateful. Though gratitude is the fourth step in affirmative prayer, I invite you to look at this step as a way of life. Live from a place of gratitude. In all things be grateful. And that's from 1 Theologians, chapter 5, verse 18. This verse does not say, for all things, but in all things, be grateful. In your despair, be grateful. In your joy, be grateful. In your experience of fear, be grateful. In your faith, be grateful. Whenever you're feeling less than, look for something to be grateful for. If you cannot find something to be grateful for, stop, take a breath, and be grateful for that breath. Make gratitude a way of life. In the morning, give thanks. Throughout your day, give thanks. If you're not feeling all that well, give thanks. Give thanks for your perfect health. In all things, give thanks. Be grateful for the experiences and people who pushed your buttons. Remember, they may have pushed the buttons, but they didn't install them. When those buttons are pushed, give thanks to whomever or whatever it was that pushed the button, because now you can choose to heal the source of the discomfort. Above all else, be grateful for you. You are an amazing individual imbued with the same intelligence that causes the earth to rotate perfectly on its axis. Yep, you are amazing. I am amazing, and for this, we are so grateful. So let's just take a moment to go within. Just experience that silence. And just take a moment to just think about what you are grateful for in your life. Think about all the beauty that you bring to the world in your own way. Give thanks for everything that is good about yourself. Let all that beauty that is within yourself just go out to the world. And know how precious you are. And know what a beautiful light that you are as you send your love out to the world. And as it returns back to you tenfold. And so for this and so much more, we just give thanks. And so it is.
Money is coming to me.
is none other than Dr. Vern Martin. Okay, I can tell I don't really need to read his autobiography to you. And he's sick of my bad jokes at his expense, so I'm not going to go there either. So that leaves me kind of at a loss. 17 years ago, I moved to Parker. And Dr. Vern had a church service that was within a couple miles of my house, and I went. And Center of Awakening, CSL Parker, we've had different names, but you haven't been able to get rid of me since then. So I think of Dr. Vern as our Pied Piper. Jannette's reading talked about our buttons and when they get pushed and who installed them. Well, Dr. Vern's my Pied Piper because he offers so many diverse classes for us. And in those classes, I've gotten familiar with my buttons. I don't like that. Even more, I don't like recognizing when they're pushed. But you know what? My life is a lot better because I feel those buttons, I know when they're pushed, and I can pick a different behavior. And learning who installed those buttons, God, that's not fun. I mean, golly gee. That's not fun either. But the growth that comes from that is phenomenal for me. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm glad to welcome Dr. Vern to our platform today.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you for all the kind and unkind words you said. Oh, I'm so touched by the fact that so many of you came out today. And you know, usually in the past I spend a lot of time preparing for my talks, but this time I didn't. And you'll see what I did is I learned to listen. And so that's what I'm going to invite you to do as we go through the morning this morning. And I really want to talk about the gifts of gratitude, but I have to back us up a little bit before I do that and describe how we got here in the first place. And how I did that was through a very small book called The Four Agreements by Don Maurice. Many of you read it. I see you shaking your heads. And we all think those four agreements are so important, but I think the preface to this book is just as important because it tells us how we got in some of the dilemmas that we're in now. And what the author does is take us back and describe that as soon as we're born, our domestication begins. People saying, oh, that is so cute, oh, this and that, and then as we get older, sometimes the messages get a little bit more sour. And the goal, it seems to be, is to domesticate us. Only the problem is that domestication is really a brainwashing about how we should not be. I'll give you a couple of examples. In his book, he says this: how many times do we humans pay for one mistake? We play them over and over and over thousands of times. We don't make the mistake once, we relive them. He says that 95% of beliefs that we have stored in our minds are false. 95%, folks. Look what we're walking around with. Now, I know you came to get uplifted today, but I have to kind of give you a downer first, you know? The way we judge ourselves is the worst judge that ever existed. So what we get to do then, it seems like, I'll talk about my journey. I don't want to talk about yours because I don't know about yours. But it seems like what it's like is stepping out of this realm of being domesticated into discovering who we really are, which is children of God, and that each one of us, when we were born, was implanted with the seed of perfection. Now, many of us have spent our lives trying to deface and mar our perfect seeds. Can you relate at all? And so after a while, we forget the truth of who we really are. And that truth is something to behold. As Jannette gave in the reading today, that we are really, truly pure, perfect expressions of God. And we seem to have forgotten our birthright and our birthplace. So I want to begin the journey today describing how do we move into a state of gratitude, because gratitude is not a place to get to. Gratitude is a manner of traveling. There is no getting there, it is being it. So part of what I'll share this morning is how my own journey was one of discovering how to be grateful. Do you remember when you were mere children, chronologically, how when somebody did something nice for you, maybe your parents said to you, what do you say? Exactly. And so we then learn from that, oh, there are special occasions when we can say thank you. But gratitude goes beyond thank you, in my opinion. And this is one of the things I think I discovered. I remember many years being an employee of Aurora Public Schools, and sometimes as a teacher and sometimes as a principal. And I remember so many months hoping I could get to the end of the month with enough money in my checking account to pay my bills. And it seemed like an uphill journey the whole time. And so it was never quite enough. You know what I mean? I wasn't ever quite there. And I don't know when or how it happened in my life, but at some point, things turned around. Well, I do actually know what it was. I began to learn to trust God. To trust that everything was managed in my life, and that everything in my life was happening for me. It was not happening to me. And I could stop being a victim, and I could move into the state of dominion. And in that state, I could give thanks in all things, as Jannette read, not for all things. Because here's the thing, folks, if we wait around for things to be grateful for, it may get to be a sparse journey in between. So as it was stated to us, in all things be grateful. Well, in the last 2+ months, I have had the gift of having shingles. And I can tell you, shingles is no dance in the park. There's a lot of pain involved, and it seems to be quite consistent. So I began to scratch my head, and I'm like, how can I be grateful for pain? It was a huge mystery. And every time I'd think I had an answer, the pain would come back, and I'd go, wait a minute, this is not as easy as I always talk about. It's not. So then I went back to something that we learned in one of our classes some time ago by Walter Starcke in a book called The Third Appearance, where he states, what does he state? When I listen, I should be embarrassed right now, but it's not worth it. I was talking about Walter Starcke. Yes. And, well, it'll come back. Let's move on. So one of the things I got to look at is how I have been my own worst enemy over my lifetime. And you know how it was? It was really pretty simple. I brought a symbol to show you. I'll hold this up for the camera as much as for you. These are our life goalposts. And here's what I did. I would say, you know what? I'll be happy. Oh, sorry, Hans. He's got to track me with the camera. So what I'd say is, okay, so I can be happy. I can be grateful when? Well, when the when got there, I would move my goalpost and say, well, that's not quite it. Maybe it'd be better if it is this. And then I would move the goalpost. Do you see how insane that could be? But it's real. So my moving goalpost became my arch nemesis, so to speak. So what we do is we put this little goalpost, set it in concrete, and we leave it there. And we say, I choose to be happy right now, regardless of the circumstance. Then you see the world of form can go on and move however it wants to move, but I am the master of my own fate. Because I know that I can be grateful for whatever happens to be going on in my life at the moment. So the moving goalposts. Now, as promised, this talk is about the gifts of gratitude. So I don't want to leave you hanging about this. So one of the things that I think is a gift of gratitude, and I will summarize at the end if I remember, is I think, honestly, that a gift of gratitude is that it is praise for God. When I am grateful, I am saying to my God, thank you, thank you, thank you, always. So I praise God. When I have a poverty consciousness, it's never good enough. In Eric Butterworth's book, if you ever want one book to read that will just fill every cell of your being with great ideas about prosperity, it is this book called Spiritual Economics. And here's what he says about it. Poverty is a way of living and thinking, and not just a lack of money or things. Now let's hear about prosperity. Prosperity is a way of living and thinking. You get it? Not just about money or things. So one of the things that gratitude does with my money machine is it opens up my conduit of energy so that I cannot outgive God. And as you look at your pledge cards this week, remember, it is a heart filled with gratitude. You don't have to take a picture of me drinking, Hans. It's a heart full of gratitude that opens up. I read someplace, and I cannot remember the author, that gratitude is most salutary. You know what that means? Creative. The more grateful I am, the more my creative energy opens up and expands. And so I just cannot be in a place of deprivation or poverty when I am grateful. So another gift of gratitude is I have a life of plenty. If you want more money, you want more time, you want more friends, be grateful for what you have. Stop looking at what is not there in your life, but what is there. And I discovered that I should never take my health for granted. Oh, I know what Walter Starcke said. I told you I would. He said that we have a thing that we're capable of is called double thinking. So I can be amazing and I can be in pain at the same time. My pain does not take away my amazingness. Isn't that the best? So when life brings something, oh, by the way, there's nothing that the universe or God brings you that is not a gift. So here's something you have to let go of this morning to achieve this thing that allows you to experience full slate of gratitude, and that is give up all your judgments. Now that is a huge order. But I tell you what, we can start by being gentle with ourselves and loving. And as we do that, how long has it been since you said to yourself, I am so grateful? I am so grateful for my feet. I am so grateful for my elbows and everything else like that. So instead of saying, you know, I could have been made differently, do you think God might have made a mistake with me? There is no way. So what we learn to do is accept what is, as it is, right here, right now, and don't move that flippin' goalpost. Leave it in place. If you and I reflect each day on what we're grateful for, we're going to have more things to be grateful for. It's just that simple. If I complain about something about myself, what am I saying to the God that created me? You made a mistake. You made a mistake. God does not make mistakes, and God does not make junk. How many times do we have to hear it? I have a very special son who looks after me spiritually and with his prayers, and he just sent me a brand new Bible yesterday called The Message. And he said, he calls me Pops. He said, Pops, look at Matthew chapter 5, verse, I can't read it, the print's too small. Verse 5, you are blessed. Now, many of us think the Bible has all these negative, naysaying things in it, but there's some good stuff here. This one is one of those good ones. You are blessed when you're content with just who you are. No more, no less. That is the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that cannot be bought. Well, okay, so we're on this journey. We're moving from just thank you to gratitude. Now, I will tell you a secret. No extra charge this morning unless you want to drop an extra 100 in the plate. Here I go again. Loving me for loving me. You know, I have no idea what I was going to say. What did I just say about
No extra charge?
Pardon?
No extra charge for what you
Yeah, no extra charge. Oh, yes. Thank you. You will never find your gratitude in your heads. Hear me well. It's not in your heads. It's not something to figure out. It's nothing to think about. It is something to be. So everyone with me right now, take a very deep breath in. And that should bring you to your open heart. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we find our gratitude. So when you get stuck, you get lost, remember to take a deep breath in and breathe into your open heart. One of the gifts of gratitude is experiencing our hearts. Someone once said that feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift and not giving it. So gratitude is what I carry in my heart. Gratitude is what I feel in all things. And I can have all the pains of shingles and I can still feel extreme gratitude because I know who I am and I know what created me and I know that I represent the seed of perfection in all things. So, let's summarize now. I will only remember a few of the gifts of gratitude, but I'll give you some of those. One is the gift of gratitude brings us closer to and a deeper appreciation for God. I know some of us like to use the word spirit, but I've gotten to the place right now in my life where spirit doesn't do it for me. I need to use the word God, so I'm using the word God with you this morning, consciously and on purpose. The gift of gratitude gives us the power of being, not the power of becoming, because gratitude says, you have arrived, you are living now on the mountaintop. You're no longer trying, you're no longer attempting, you're no longer pretending to be what you're not, because you are the real deal. Gratitude opens up the channel of energy for us so that as we are grateful, our channel of energy opens and opens and opens into the infinite. And that was one of the things I wanted to say back in the day when I was trying to make ends meet. I struggled to contribute to my church. I just knew that if I gave it to the church, I wouldn't have enough. And the opposite is true, ladies and gentlemen. And Eric Butterworth in his book talks about bring the whole tithe. He said, let's be done with all this talk about tithes. Let's talk about a giving heart. Our giving hearts is what's important. So as I fill out my pledge card, I'm going to check in with my heart. Is this the right thing for me to do? And the last thing that I think gratitude does as a gift for us is it makes us feel good. When I was in my stinking thinking, I couldn't make myself feel good because I did not feel good at the level of my heart. So as I give, I open my heart. And as I open my heart, the universe opens its treasures of time, talent, and everything good. So, how am I? I am amazing, and so are you. Let's have a prayer. Oh, infinite universe. From the bottom of our hearts, we say thank you, thank you, thank you for being who we are. Perfect in every way, grateful in all things, blessed in all things, and all those things that I bless in my life. What blessing means is I bestow prosperity on all that I bless. So in our lives now, we bless everything. We bless everything that Spirit brings into our lives. We release all judgment and move to a total state of acceptance, accepting with full gratitude for all that is in our hearts and in our lives. Our lives are blessed. Our lives are a blessing. Please join me now in closing this prayer by declaring together, and so it is, and so we let it be.
Okay, now is our time of offering. Before we get into that, I want to talk about this pledge card. Yes, the one I have already filled out. Pledge cards, yuck. You know, is that consistent with CSL, with religious science? I don't know, but it's consistent with good business practice. If our board knows some idea of what income to expect, they can manage our expenses, meaning we don't go broke. So I just want to say that there's no amount that is too little, and there's no amount that is too much. If you pledge $1 a week, at the end of the year, that equals $52. $52 could buy something the band needs. Or, you know, I don't know. $52 is significant. So $1 is not too little. And you can add as many zeros as you would like to that. As often as you like. You can pledge every day. To me, the important part is that, for me, I do it online. I do it once and I am done. I don't have to think about it. I can change my pledge. It's just easy. I don't miss the money because I never watched it go away. It just happened automatically. So I encourage doing that automatically, but you know, that's just my thing. So let's take our offerings and our, one more thing about these pledge cards. We're going to put them into the offering basket. If you don't have a pen, that's no excuse. We have an abundant supply of pens in the back. Oh, Felina has them. If you need a pen, raise your hand, we'll do it. If you end up doing your pledge card after the service, you can fold it in half and put it in the prayer request box. It won't be seen by anybody. I won't tell everybody that you only gave 50 cents. So let's take those pledge cards and let's take our offering today. Hold it in your hand, place your hand on your heart. Even if you give electronically and you don't have anything other than your pledge card to put in the basket. Please repeat after me. I give this gift for you. I give this gift for you. I give this gift for me. I give this gift for me. Knowing that as I give, so shall I receive. Knowing that as I give, so shall I receive. And so it is. And so it is. I think we have ushers.
God is my soul. God is my power. Gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my soul. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right. Thank you, Usher Irene. I know that these pledges, these offerings, these pledge cards, and these gifts are perfectly in tune with the universe. I know that what each of us gives returns to us many times over. I know that what we collectively give and put out into the community returns to us many times over. With that knowing, these pledges and gifts are blessed, and so are each of you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, it's time for me to say thank you. There's some obvious people. Dr. Vern, Jannette. I think Pam is our altar person. Pam. We have hot coffee. We have donuts. We have snacks. I don't know who to thank. I can make some guesses, but I'm grateful to them. Having just that little bit at our table helps. It encourages us to stay and to hang around and to get to know each other. So I'm grateful for all that. Again, don't forget about your practitioners. White stoles, open hearts, you can't miss us. Oh, my gosh. I don't know. You think I should thank the band? Yes. So, it's with gratitude. It's with thankfulness. I'm just glad to be here and especially glad you are. And I'd like to ask Dr. Vern to come and give our benediction before we break bread together.
This week, let's go out into the world with a heart full of gratitude, especially this Thanksgiving, knowing that we are thankful for all the gifts of our lives, and we're thankful for no thing. I bless each of you on your journey, and know that you're also very gentle with yourselves and each other. That you say loving and kind things to yourself, because that would be closer to the truth than anything else. Let's honor God today by saying thank you. Thank you for everything. And so it is. Go forth and sin no more.
One, two.
See joy.